So, Star Wars Battlefront. We finally got our first look at some in-engine gameplay yesterday in the form of a trailer, and wow. For those of you who've been following this game as much as I have, DICE really didn't disappoint with the stuff that they did actually show off. But I think they did disappoint in other places, so we'll get to those in a minute. I'm sure by now that you've seen this footage, and if you haven't, then you need to do that like right now. So I won't dwell on it too much, but instead we'll be focusing on all of the information that we got around the reveal at this convention, like release dates, DLC info, and gameplay stuff too. So let's get straight to it then. Star Wars Battlefront will release on PC, Xbox One and PS4 on November the 17th, 2015. That's right, no last generation Xbox 360 or PS3 to ruin the party. This is the US release date, and other territories are likely going to have to wait a few days longer, or just a couple of days depending on where you live. I'm not sure why EA still use this really outdated staggered release policy. It's just stupid. Call of Duty has been doing it worldwide for years now, and from a marketing perspective, it helps to build like a flow of excitement or hype around a release, rather than different people having to wait for different times of the day or different days of the week to get their hands on a game. The setting for the game will play out across the Galactic Civil War, or what most people refer to as the original trilogy. This is mainly due to the fact that the new film, The Force Awakens, is set after the events of the original trilogy. Now, I know a lot of you might be disappointed there because we're not going to be getting to see anything from the prequel movies that came out after the original trilogy, but I guess there is only so much that DICE can cram into this game. The first DLC for the game is called Battle of Jakku, and it's set to be released 2 weeks ahead of the Force Awakens movie on December the 8th. Now, if you pre-order either the standard or deluxe edition of the game, you will get access to the DLC a week earlier than that on December the 1st. So that's 2 weeks earlier than the film for the DLC, and if you pre-order the whole game, you end up getting the DLC even earlier. But what's the best thing about this DLC? Well, it's free for everyone, as long as you buy the game. You can't just get the DLC, you have to buy the base game, but everybody will get access to this DLC for free. Now that we've spoken a little bit about the game in general, let's go into some of the gameplay features that you're likely to actually encounter within Star Wars Battlefront. So first of all, and I think probably something that most people will be interested here, is that you will have the ability to switch between first and third person at any time during gameplay. There was a rumour that was going round that it was locked to first person only. I'm not sure where that rumour came from, but I do remember it being quite prominent a couple of months back. And a lot of people were kind of disappointed, considering the last Battlefront game was a third-person shooter. But it looks as if DICE have done their best here to try and make sure that the things that you remember from the Battlefront series of old, you're getting in this game as well. So as I said, you can switch between first and third person at any time. And to add on to the end of that as well, you will be able to aim down sights whilst you're in first person mode. Again, there was another rumour going around that that wasn't going to be the case, but you can aim down sights. The game is going to be focused on surface battles, and yes, I can hear you grumbling in the background there. A lot of people are disappointed that we won't be seeing space battles in at least this iteration of Star Wars. I'm sure there will be games in the future that will incorporate space battles. I mean, right now, Visceral Games are working on another Star Wars game, so it's entirely possible that we will see that in the future, but at least DICE have come out and said that don't expect space battles within their version of Battlefront right now. Locations that you will be able to wage war in, however, are Hoth, Endor, Tatooine, and Sulla. So right now those are the 4 planets that are confirmed for the game, and I'm sure there will be more in DLC. And DICE have come out and said that different game modes will take place in different locations on those planets. So it's likely we'll be seeing 2 map locations per planet, at least right now anyway. That's the information we have. There will be no campaign for this game, which surprised me a little bit. It was a very surprising move, and instead DICE have decided to create a series of missions that can either be completed solo, co-op, or via local split screen, which takes me back a few years in terms of console games, but I'm guessing that will be mainly a console feature. The main focus I think a lot of players will be looking for within Battlefront is those massive scale battles, playing out some awesome fighting scenes in multiplayer, but it is nice that DICE have managed to get some story-based action in there as well. Multiplayer game modes will be limited to a maximum of 40 players. I'll let that sink in just for a minute. Okay, you ready for an explanation, or at least my theory as to why that might be? Okay, let's take the Battlefield series for an example. The main reason that the Visceral team couldn't implement more destruction into Battlefield Hardline was due to the amount of players on servers. With 64 players, all the bandwidth was taken up for the server. Reduce the player count, more bandwidth room for other things to go on in the map. In terms of Battlefront, that could mean massive scale destruction, high fidelity vehicle movement, etc. DICE have said that different game modes will support different amounts of players as well, for some up to the maximum of 40, and some all the way down to the minimum of just 8 players. The game will feature a hero system where you'll be able to play as really cool characters like Darth Vader and Boba Fett. Details on how to activate these heroes, though, isn't really known right now, but from what we've managed to grasp, heroes will be activated by completing tasks within the game, sort of like the field upgrade system for the Battlefield franchise. And the heroes have been described as extremely powerful, and taking them on will be like a boss fight. And two very minor points to round off with: Battlefront will not be using DICE's very own battle log system. It seems that DICE want to try and keep these franchises separate, and they're working on a fully in-game sort of server browser and stat system. So it won't be using battle log, and there will be offline modes available, although nothing concrete has really been spoken about that at all right now, just that we know it will be available. Wow, that was a lot of information for you guys to take in just 7 minutes. I mean, it took me a little while to be able to figure out what I was going to try and say to you in this video, and what order to put it in as well, because all of that seems really, really exciting to me, and I'm longing for more information to come out now. I was due to fly out to Stockholm a few weeks back to see the actual gameplay trailer of Battlefront, but I had some other real-life commitments that meant I couldn't make it out to that event, and I couldn't make it to the reveal either. I'm starting to run out of holiday days at work, so I can't fly all the way across the world anymore. But I'm sure that we will get to see the gameplay trailer come out sooner or later. My bet is it will be at E3 2015. But that's all I've got time for today, guys, so thank you very much for watching. If you could hit me up with a like if you enjoyed the video, that'd be absolutely fantastic. And don't forget to check out g2a.com/r/Westy for all the latest deals on the greatest games. The link is in the description. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.